Okay, welcome to this rant on my channel Opus. I did do firstly a German video about a character from a book, but now I'm talking English because I like also to practice it and trying to talk in it. But yeah, this is a rant about art and what art is and such. And yes, I have a really, really interesting story about two blind men sitting on a cliff while their world ends. This is a story from another story from a book from a character named Hoyt from the Stormlight Archive. I don't know the book right now in which it is set, but it is a really fine story. So, these two men sit on this cliff and they talk about art and beauty. And one of the men asks the other one, "What is art?" The other replies, "Well, art is of course a masterpiece, a painting that is beautifully made by an artist. To see it is real art, that which we cannot do because we are blind." And the other man responds, "But isn't a sculpture also art? Can't we feel the stonework of the craftsman? Or isn't the music an art? That which we can hear and that we feel with our ears? Or isn't the touch of a woman art? Isn't her loving art? When she makes us food, when she helps us in our everyday, isn't that art?" And the other man says, "Well, yeah, you're right, it's also art. But what if you were blind, deaf, your tongue got cut out, your whole skin was burned, and you can feel nothing else but pain in this world? You would have lost art and beauty." And the other man replied, "So you only feel pain then?" "Yeah, that is what I mean by that." "Would the pain change, though?" And the other man replied, "Okay, let's say it does." And the other man says, "Well, then this would be art. The moments when the pain was lesser. This would be art. This would be beauty for this person. The person without skin, eyes, ears. This would be their art." Then, because to be human is to seek art and beauty in everything, in every situation, in every moment. And then their world ended. Yeah, this is. I think of this story a lot. The character in the book is also really great. It is not one by one. I said it out of memory, but the core theme. Okay, well, I think you just heard a motorcycle in the background, but the main theme of the story is still the same as I said it. To be human is to seek art in everything all the time. And I think that is what makes us human in the first place. And I think it's beautiful. I think it's art. Even the story itself is art, because art is something that evokes emotions, lets us think about things, states questions. Art is beautiful. Art is life. Art is to be human. And there are 1,000 millions of different kinds of arts. The most common, of course, paintings. For example, this one. This is from the British Museum's Flickr page. They have free use pictures on there. And just like this sketch is art. You can see the iceberg in the background, the ships before it. And this isn't painting, it is art. It evokes some kind of emotion. Well, for me it does. I don't know about other persons, but it does. But even if we go deeper into that, like the ship, a ship itself is art. It was made by people. It was crafted, every piece documented so it would fit perfectly to make this whole giant construct that could get you over the seas of the world, that could get you to places where mountains were made out of ice and creatures were present that no human ever saw. I'm speaking like this because, well, 16th, 17th century kind of, And yes, a ship is also art. Ship making is art. Paintings. There are so many kinds of paintings, oil paintings. Then we got normal pastel paintings. We got, I can't even pronounce them all right now, but there are so many different things just for painting, just because of that. Also, nature itself. Isn't that also art? To see rock formations and the symmetricals, for example, of a snowflake. Every snowflake is insanely detailed and not independent. What is the word when something exists only once? Special? I don't really know the word right now, I'm sorry. But a snowflake is a beautiful piece of art, not made by humans, but perceived by us. Because we yearn for art, for beauty, and we see it everywhere in nature. For example, this deer right in front of us with its, or what's called in English, I don't know, its horns. People hang them in their homes as trophies of hunt, or even if they just find them laying in the woods because they fell off every, I think it's summer or winter, I'm not very sure, but they fell off the deers and people collect them, and because they find them beautiful, they hang them in their homes to look at them, to see them every day when they get home and sit in the living room next to a fireplace, and then they have this big deer horns on the wall, framed on a wooden, what is it called? I don't know, I'm sorry. But you know what I mean, what I'm talking about. This is beauty. Flowers. Flowers. I was just today going around my neighborhood and everywhere is blooming flowers. And you have to really be grateful for these people that take the effort to put in the art of gardening so that those giant flowers can bloom in the gardens of this village or of your village or of any village. And I kneel down at every flower I see and I smell the sense of the flower and I feel alive. Like, it is a sensation that is so great. You feel the sweetness of the air before you when you see this plant wonder. And you see the art behind it, and this makes humans. The different smells of the flowers, from a rose to a dandelion to a tuple. I don't know if it's called tuple or tuple. I don't know how to pronounce it in English. I'm sorry, but the different smells, the different colors, the combinations. They, for example, the people in Holland, in the Netherlands, they have giant fields of flowers there, and they breed them across generation of generation to make the most perfect flower, so they have the most beautiful piece of art made out of biological plants. It's insane to see these fields even just on photos and see the raw art of humanity behind it. Then, of course, we have people, just the people, the person at its core. It is art. Persons are so complicated, it is insane. We are worlds. Like one person is a whole world of collected memories, emotions, rage, love, hate, everything. And we have around 8 billion of us on this world, and each and every one is unique in its own way. And each and every one has this view on the world and their own view on art and their own view on specific events and other persons and the relationship between others. Love. You're bringing your partner their flowers, their favorite chocolate, or just staying with them after they had a very stressful, hard day at work. This is art. This is beauty. This is what humans are for, what humans want, what humans need. Even just like in this picture, the little child with her dog sitting on the river, and she's probably reading a, well, not reading a book, but looking at book pictures, I think. But even this connection between other species that we revere as friends, the dog, the best friend of a human. I have a friend who rides horses, and the bond she has with her horse is very interesting, and it feels also like art and beauty and all of this. Then we have, of course, architecture. The milestones that people have set building things. The pyramids of Gaza. And not Gaza, Gaizi? Ah, well, I just the pyramids of Egypt then. I don't know which right now the place is really called, but well. Like 6,000 years ago, I think, around this time. I'm not a historian, but humans built these giant palaces, last destinations of their pharaohs. I have to say through slave labor probably, and but still it is a beautiful piece of art that stands to this day in Egypt because the English people couldn't bring it to Britain. It's always a joke that the only thing keeping the pyramids in Egypt is because the British didn't have the manpower to bring them to Britain. But yes, also, for example, this castle we see right now in this picture, it's all from the English library. Um, the different styles of architecture. For example, you can see on the windows that they are very pointy and have these little, what is it called? When you have a tower, but it's not a tower, it's just a column, I think. It's a column, it's called. But I'm not sure right now. Um, I'm gonna Google. um, yes, like those is different styles and unbelievably more people were in this creation because one art style is based off another and another and another, and it changes and it evolves around the world and the people living in it. So every 10 years something changes, something is new, something is absolutely interesting. Column, yes, it's column. It's column. And yes, for example, the castle Neuschwanstein in Germany. I was there with my family. It is a giant, beautiful palace built by architects that view their passion as art. I have to say that the new buildings in this generation or this century are not so beautiful as in the past. But who am I to judge art? If you put art, good art and bad art, into different sections, you are not a person of art. Like, you cannot say this art is good art and this art is bad art. It's all art. There's art you like and there's art you don't like, but there isn't good and bad art. Then, stories, storytelling, films, books, series, everything, even songs that have lyrics in them tell of fights between good and evil, love and hate, of feeling scared, of feeling brave, of courage, of the human experience of art. There are so many great stories out there. There are so many people reading, hearing, listening, seeing those stories, fiction or no fiction, and they revere or review art. Art that is necessary for our world, for our very core, our human being. Art is beautiful. And even though some people don't understand the message of the author, for example, in series or in books, they still see these books and make their own conclusion out of it, which is beautiful. It is also a form of art to see your own opinion on somebody else's work. Not copying it one by one, of course, but being inspired by it. Feeling disgusted or amazed or whimsical about this piece of particular art. There's also the talk of the modern art not being real art because it is very abstract. But these abstract arts, they were already way in the past. In the what was it the time? I think in the 60s or 70s there was an art style that was set around feelings. So everything they drew was not an architecture or realistic or anything like that, but just pure emotion. Like a blue canvas full of flickers and lines and stuff. It could also be that it was in the 80s or 90s. I'm not really sure right now, I'm sorry. But yeah. Stories change people. Stories changed me. Stories other thing that connects people. The story of your uncle that had a very bad night at the casino, or the story that you read in the Bible or in any religious text that try to help a moral compass be achieved, or the stories in the fictional book that you read that is just about fun magic tricks, but still it has a story that a person sat down and wrote, and having things in their mind so they could put those thoughts on the paper. Art is what makes us human, because being human means looking for art and looking for beauty. And I find it that that is true. Thank you for listening to this rant of mine. Um, yes, I will probably do more formats like this, because I just want to talk and bring it out to people. But for example, for this video right now, I didn't really have a plan. I wanted to talk about art. I wrote down some little notes, but halfway through I just let them go and talked about all things that I had in my mind. And I think that is also beautiful. Speaking your mind, speaking your opinion on things, on art especially, is important for everyone. So I encourage everyone that listened to this till now to talk about art and seek it everywhere and everywhere you go. Goodbye.